Hi guys, I've caught another hedgehog in my humane trap and I'm about to release it. This one is a very small one. It's possibly this year's offspring. So I'm going to release this one and let it go on its way like I did the other one. But one thing I can say, I must have a really healthy hedgehog population in and around my garden. So I'm quite proud of that, you know, keeping my garden around the edges pretty much free from pesticides, fertilizers, and allowing undergrowth to, you know, grow and provide a bit of habitat for them. They do seem to be flourishing in my garden. So there you go, he's all curled up in a nice tight ball, and it's definitely not the other one we caught, because this one here is a lot smaller. Like I'd say, it's possibly this year's brood. So I'm going to tip him out and let him go about his way. But yeah, it's nice to see I have so many of these little prickly friends in the garden. And you can see he's curled himself right up in a tight ball there. So let's release him again, same as the other one. He really has curled himself up there. Come on. So he's doing his natural thing, and he's curled himself right in a tight ball. You can't see him at all, and that's his natural defence, you know, to stop anything getting at him. I'm going to move away and see if he comes to his senses and scuttles away. Right, I'm at the coast and I'm about to get some seaweed. It's quite blowy. It's not actually stormy, but it's not pleasant weather, so it's going to be extremely windy. But I'm going to get my 3 bags of seaweed for my little garden plot. Amongst all this, you've got plastic debris. Obviously, you know, it's from anything and everything that finds its way in the ocean. And like I said, you don't want that in your garden. So when you're sifting through it, you have to pick a handful up and make sure you don't get netting or anything plastic. So, you know, it's not the most pleasant thing sticking your hands in seaweed, but yeah, it's good for the garden. So, as you can see, I've got 2 bags. I'm going to fill this one up and that'll be it. We'll make our way home. Like I say, I'm just double checking the plastic. Yeah, it's a bit sad. There's a dead seal pup here. We had some winds over the last couple of weeks, and no doubt they succumbed by being smashed against the rocks and separated from their mum. It's a bit sad, but it's nature. And I've also spotted another one over there. So that's 2 seal pups that didn't grow up to be adults and make their way out into the ocean. I'll very quickly let you have a very quick look, not to be gruesome, but just to show you this is what happens on the coast. So there you go, a young seal pup. Obviously it's a very young one because the actual fur itself is white. Yeah, not being gruesome to let you see this, it's just basically education, showing you that they do actually succumb when there is stormy, windy weather. Here's the other seal pup, and you can see it's decomposed slightly more. So possibly not from the same mother, probably an earlier one, but like I said, the winds we've just had obviously separated them from the mums, and they obviously succumbed to the weather, the environment, and possibly being dashed upon these rocks over here. It's sad, but ultimately this is the reality of what happens on the coast. So you can see I've got the seaweed on the actual topsoil, along with the cow dung and sheep dung, horse dung, and I'm just working it all into the ground now. You can see what I've done up there, and it's looking a bit more uniformed, but I've yet to do this here, and It does actually smell. You can smell the sea. So I'm in a bit of a hurry to get it into the soil. And it's looking a lot better actually. Now I'm turning the soil over. I'm just going to get some leaf litter in another month's time, and I'll work that in with it all. And over the period of the next few months, I'm just going to keep turning it over so I get a nice good cycle going with this soil. It's completely turned over, but that turned into a big job because it started raining. This was sticking to my boots and it became a right mess. But I thought as a point to stopping, I might as well just get it done. But that is looking so much better. The soil actually looks and feels like it's got more like nutrients, and it's better, you know, prepared to deal with next year's vegetables when they get planted here. Yeah, definitely feel that was worth doing. These are strawberry runners that I planted in a mixture of chicken fertiliser and soil, and they've really shot up and done the business. They're actually throwing runners out with young strawberry plants, and I'm going to take those and plant them in a mixture of chicken compost again and put them in the greenhouse to bring those on. It shouldn't be throwing actual strawberry runners now, but I think it's just because we've had a few days of you know, good sunshine, but the weather's really taken a turn. But so I want to get them potted up before I lose them to the frost. And as for all this here, which we keep saying we're going to sort out and throw the ones that only come up yearly and get the actual ones that we're going to salvage for next year, put away and in the greenhouse, cut them back, tidy it all up. But it's one of those jobs, just keep putting off and off and off and nothing happens. But some of this we can salvage. It just needs tidying up and getting ready to go into the greenhouse and come out next year. And a strawberry flower, it really shouldn't be doing that at this time of year. Things just seem a little bit messed up in my garden. I've got flowers coming on the fruit trees and they shouldn't be doing that. I did actually get all that wood back out of the field I was cutting it in, and I cleared the rest of it up for my friend. So I went back on the second day, cleared the field up, cut the rest down for him, stacked it all up, and obviously he brought my share back home here, and I'll just let you have a look at the woodshed and you can see the amount I've got in here. You'll have to excuse the mess. My woodshed's become a bit of a dumping ground for things at the minute, but you can see what I took, and it's stacked quite high and quite deep back through, and I've got all the bigger rounds further back in. Coming to the front is actually the smaller ones, and the bits that I've kind of just got into more manageable sizes thrown on top. Incidentally, I got myself a new wetsuit which I tried out the other day because it's autumn. My old one was full of holes, and yeah, in the UK the sea temperature drops to such a point, you know, you really do need decent wetsuit rubber to keep you warm. Right, I've got 3 eggs here, and as you can see, today's job is to actually clean this sleeping in egg laying compartment out. It needs a good clean. I demited it the other day. That's what the white powder is everywhere, and I don't see no evidence of mites, and it's just part of looking after chickens and something that you just have to do. It's just part and parcel of keeping chickens. Yeah, so far, due to the announcements and everything that's been happening, our stall outside has seen very limited action, as in sales, but that's understandable because obviously the economy's contracting and people are trying to keep their money in their pockets. I am still getting sales, but it's nowhere near anything that we have seen before. Um, and I'm hoping for a good Christmas period, to be honest with you. But yeah, just let you have a look at this one I've just made, and it's still drying, so it's still got a little bit of a wet sheen to it. And this is in boiled linseed, not a polyurethane coat on it. So, and this is what we call our natural collection, where we leave a lot of the bark on. But yeah, this one's a nice one, and it'll make a nice companion for somebody out on the trail. Obviously it's got my logo there, Folklore, and I don't know if you can see that. A small little songbird there, burnt on to the actual wood, just to give it that nice little feel. I usually put, most of my sticks come with some sort of wood burning of a woodland animal or bird, just to give it that, like, how can I put it, connection to the outdoor environment and where you'll be using one of my hiking sticks. But yeah, this will be a nice one. It's still drying. It's got another day to dry, and then I'll give it a quick wipe off, and it'll be ready to put online to sell. I've got 2 new chickens in there, but to replace the one we lost before we went to Portugal. They're in there doing their thing on some hedge clippings I've put in there. But I'm actually more concerned about getting this more predator proof for the winter months, when we could see foxes and stuff, arriving to investigate, see if they could get better access to food. We've had one fox up having a look around, but it's that time of year they can still get rabbits quite easily in the fields. So, I've got to actually do something to make this more safe for the girls. Yeah, that's going to need sorting out. I can see one little hole there. It's still secure, but, it wouldn't take too much, or too much time for that, to actually become unsafe. This here needs sorting as well. I can see a few holes, as you can see. And I've lost a little bit to this plastic covering. That's got, plastic weakens over time with sun, UV damage, and I think that's what's happened here, and a few branches and twigs have come down and broke it. So I've got some repairs to do for winter. In my garden you'll see the big cherry tree there, and you'll see how it's grown up, and it's beginning to obstruct the view out over into the countryside and fields. So every 3 years I have to cut it down, and I take it down about 3 or 4 feet. So, this tree here that you'll see over here, that's going to lose about 3 feet that I'm going to take from it, just to allow me to keep that view, particularly in the morning, out over the valley and the fields. Yeah, the view's worth a lot to me. We're getting sort of like 3 eggs a day from the chickens, possibly 2. It's dropped off a fair bit, but that's to be expected because of the time of year. The other 2 aren't producing yet because obviously they're still new. So that's the bedroom window. I was just looking out to show you that tree, and I'll show you what it looks like down here in the actual garden. Right, I'm just walking down to it here, and you can see it's quite high. It's probably 20 feet. I keep it under control down this part, but I'm going to have to go up and take all the small twigs and possibly just take a few inches off the bigger limbs just to get it down to size. Like I said, it's every 3 years I do this. My sweet corn is doing extremely well, like I've shown you in many other videos, but I think the end of this month it will be harvested, and I really am excited and curious about this. But yeah, it's they're doing very well. I've just popped out for a small little walk, and I'm doing it at a fair rapid rate and a pace just to get the heart racing. A lot of the walks I've been doing recently, even though I may be doing a bit of distance, I'm kind of doing it at a leisurely pace and enjoying looking around and taking in the atmosphere and the views. And obviously that's not really, how can I put it this way, getting your cardio system really fully functioning. So I'm doing a few smaller ones now and again, but really kind of stepping up the pace. Obviously, you know, I'm at that time of life where I am considering health and everything like that. And I realise that as well as possibly losing a bit of weight, I possibly need to be doing a little bit of cardio. I've come across this little caterpillar, and it's an extremely furry fellow and quite a big one as well. Yeah, I've always assumed that caterpillars would be done by this time of year, but he needs to hurry up, because if we have a frost, I should imagine that will be the end of him. I'm just walking past the forest camp my kids kind of use, and it's looking pretty bedraggled, and we haven't spent very much time here this year. It's been just too busy, but if it holds out till next summer, I think we've got a lot of work to do to get this back in shape. Yeah, a lot of the walls are still holding together, but the roofs and everything like that, and the vegetation to provide a little bit of shelter, that's kind of all gone. But yeah, and some of it's actually come down. But yeah, next year we'll have to get in here when we've got a little bit more time and sort this out for them. But yeah, shame really, but you know, time goes on, and you don't always have the time to do the things that you want to do. It'll still be there. Yeah, when we do the school run, we have to cross a ford, and you know, it can be anything from a few inches to several feet deep, even to the point it's overflowing the walkway across the ford and going out over the embankment, and in fact running down the opposite road, making it you know, quite dangerous. But I'll just show you, and it's looking as tranquil as can be now, and it's very pleasant. But yeah, it can be some mornings when you come down to it, what are you facing, and what do you need to turn around and go the long way round on the main road. But yeah, I'll just let you have a little look. So you would have just come around the corner, you've been driving up to this particular point, and by now you'd realise if you had to go back and turn around. And as you can see, this is really tranquil. And we've got a very gentle stream meandering across the road. But we have seen it before, where it's actually going out over the walkway here, because that's got blocked up. This whole road here is blocked, and it's a raging torrent, and it's just going over there like Niagara Falls. And at that point, you know, you don't put your car through it. You turn round just on that corner and go back. But it's a long way round. But yeah. And then the river and stream will divert, so it runs down the road literally alongside the stream on the opposite side of the bank. So you can get two watercourses develop. And you ultimately get water running down here out of the forest and farmland. But yeah, it's just one of those things you deal with living in a rural area. This is actually still a road. It's still marked on the map as a road, and it's like one or two roads around my area. They've kind of, the council are beginning to let them go back to, well, pretty much nature. I mean, concrete, but you can see the grass. It is almost like a farmer's track, and that is what it's becoming. It's becoming what we call a green lane, and I don't foresee these being put back into service as proper general public vehicle roads anytime soon, if ever. But yeah, just there's quite a few of these beginning to happen in and around my area. I don't know whether that's lack of funds or just general consensus that there are other roads where these would be going. Well, the rain and the wind has died off at the moment, but I'm pretty sure when I get to the top of this hill I'll be hit with the wind. I can see the clouds moving quite fast, but I've got a moment of sun on my back. In fact, I've got a bead of sweat on my forehead. I've just come up a hill. But yeah, totally gorgeous. I'm kind of finding, as each year passes, I've got a bigger desire to be out and about and in nature. And I kind of find that is the case with a lot of older people, older men and women. There seems to be that inherent desire to be out in amongst all this. It's almost as if, you know, the sands of time is kind of passing, and with that, you kind of realise that some things are more important and you need to seek the enjoyment and use your time to its best, you know. And being out in amongst this for me is obviously one of the ways I see me, you know, using my time to its fullest. Well, it's been a busy year and there's a lot of uncertainties ahead, not just for us as a family, but I suppose everyone else out there. Yeah, things aren't, they're not conducive to a stable economy. They're not conducive to a stable mindset and a stable way of life without, you know, things that are happening throughout the world, you know, having an indirect impact. Now, we're all doing our best to get through this period, but ultimately, you know, we've all got to find our own ways through this particular period. I can't change things. I'm pretty sure most of you aren't going to be able to change things. You can only directly look after yourself, your immediate family, and possibly those around you in your present and current situation and location, you know. And with that being said, all I can say is, you know, take care, and you know, I hope to see you out on the trail, and I hope you just enjoyed just a little bit of me doing a few random things here on the internet. So yeah, all the best, take care, Andy.